Welcome everyone. Okay. There's the basics of biology today. And subsequently, we are going to be looking at some questions in our Q&A series, question and answer series. So basically, let's just have some little definitions here. So, what is biology in definition? Okay. So we say that biology is the study of life, but the study of life in all of its diverse forms. Study of life in all of its diverse forms. So we are not just talking about study of animals alone, or study of plants, microbes. We are studying life in all of its diverse forms. So that is the definition there. And the fundamental question here is, what is life? What is life itself? What is this life that we are studying? So here, that's where the question comes in. What does it mean for something, an organism, to be alive, to be a living thing? So we have some characteristics. So we can tell that something is living when we observe certain characteristics. So according to science, when we observe certain characteristics, we know that this thing is living. It's just like this this marker here. See this marker? Can it respire? Can it, if I try to squeeze it, or if I want to do anything, can it respond? Does it respond to anything? I don't know. Can it reproduce itself? Can it make a copy of itself, like this marker reproducing itself to become two? So we can say that this is non-living, right? Because it cannot perform any of these characteristics. So scientists have been able to look at these things and bring down a few things that we can see, observe, or experience, and we can say that, okay, this thing is a living thing. So we all know that from our basic biology. I'm not here to teach you what you don't know. It's just to remind you of what you have been taught, and possibly a kind of give hints on what you should be expecting in your exams. So we know that, number one, living things move. Movement is one of those characteristics of living things. Living things move. What is this movement about? This movement is not just all about moving from one place to another. So that is what we call locomotion. If living things move from one place to another, we call it locomotion. But in this case, movements can be in different forms. For example, as I'm speaking right now, there are a lot of movements in my body, right? You who is also watching, there's a lot of movements in your body. This movement might be from maybe blood is moving, is circulating all over my body, and molecules are also moving. There are a lot of movements in my body. So even in the plants, they might just be standing, but there's a lot of movement going on in their system. So we can say that something is living if we observe something like movement of blood, flow of blood, and also the normal movements we know, such as walking, swimming. Okay, fish do swim, human beings as well, we can swim. So when we observe these kind of things, we know that this is a living thing. And then secondly, we have respiration. There is a little a thin line here between respiration and breathing. Respiration and breathing. To respire is different from to breathe. When we breathe, we exchange gases. Okay, so we exchange gases. But when we respire, we break down molecules in our system. So this is, let me explain further. To breathe means to, just like inhalation and exhalation. When you take in air, you inhale, you breathe in. And when you take it out, you breathe out, right? That is breathing. Not all living things breathe. Note that. I want you to note that. Not all living things breathe, but every living thing respires. That is it. So, respiration, we did not put breathing. In the characteristics of living things, there's nothing like breathing. Because there are organisms that don't breathe. The taking in of air, and like for example, fish. Fish, they do not breathe. They don't breathe. What they do is, they take in dissolved oxygen. So oxygen is what they need. But how they get this oxygen is different compared to us. So they take in dissolved oxygen. But we take in oxygen from the air, right? Atmospheric oxygen. So breathing and respiration are two different things. Respiration means breaking down of molecules. When we eat, the food we eat needs to be broken down so that the molecules can be used to perform functions. So that is breathing. So that is respiration rather. So respiration is a process through which organisms convert food into energy. This can be aerobic or anaerobic, that is involving oxygen or not involving oxygen. So if a certain organism can respire, we say that this thing is a living thing. This marker cannot respire. It cannot break down, and there's no food inside, it cannot break down anything. So we say that this is non-living, right? Okay, so sensitivity here, that is the third one. Sensitivity. Living things respond to stimuli. Sensitivity. For example, if I just use a pin just to punch, to poke you, you respond immediately. Or maybe your hand, your skin gets in contact with, maybe you're trying to iron your clothes, and then your skin gets in contact with the iron. Immediately you respond. You don't need anybody to tell you to drop this thing. So that is response to stimuli. Living things respond. Even the fish. If you put a fish in a pond, they can survive in that pond depending on the temperature level in that pond. If you increase the temperature, maybe you heat the water, you will see that the fish will begin to respond. You begin to respond to it. So that shows you that they are living things. Earthworm. Most of us, we did this thing back then. We try to use salt, sodium chloride, to when we see all these earthworm, we want to use salt to put on them. I want to kind of see how they will react. Immediately that salt touches the worm, you see them reacting. That's to show that they are living things. So that is what we call sensitivity, responding to stimuli. That is plural. Stimulus is singular for it. So every living thing or living things do respond to sensitivity. Even the chameleon, you can see the chameleon, once you are approaching it, it changes colors. That is not sensitivity per se. We can say that is adaptation. They are trying to adapt to the environment, which is another one here. Okay, let me use this opportunity. Adaptation. So living things adapt to their environment. They adapt to changing situations in their environment. No matter what happens, they will always try to adjust themselves so that they can survive in the environment. Including humans, we adapt so much. We can even adapt to economic situations. When the economy is too high, you see us adapting. You see us living, trying to survive, do things that naturally we wouldn't have done those things, basically. But when we see everything difficult, we try to adapt to the current environment. So every living thing must adapt in order to survive. Then growth. Living things undergo increase in size. I was not like this when I was given birth to. I was very tiny. My ears were not this big. My eyes were not this big. But everything grows simultaneously, biologically. So living things do grow. They do grow. So that's one of the characteristics there. So organisms undergo increase in size, complexity over time through cell division and development. So this happens through cell division. We are going to be talking more on cell division later